Well, it's Soca or Die, episode 3 of season 2, and this time we go in virtual because we can't have no choice because pandemic and lockdown and mass and well, not the mass that we want to look forward to, but of course, before I ramble on further, I'd like to introduce the rest of our panel this evening.
Aurelia.
Well, I'm Evo, and this is my White and Sprite, and I'm ready to get into this.
I'm Kareem. Cheers to everyone on White and Sprite. Let's do this again.
I just have the standing water. That's all right.
Well, yeah. Well, this is what? Highland Springs. Wherever that is.
Top shelf. Top shelf.
Is it?
Is that the blue waters of England?
Well, I don't know. It was cheap and it tastes good, so we're gonna go with that, right? But yeah, so we're kicking off virtual. Everything has happened virtually this year. I think they said not this year, the last year, but what the quote of 2020 was, your mic is on mute. And so we're going to get into some of the virtual concerts and events that we've seen over the last couple of months. So who wants to start?
I am going to start by saying I am completely over virtual concerts. I don't want to see another one.
What a way to start.
I know, right?
Right out the gate.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
I think there's a difference. What I've noticed, because we've all become, sort of attendees, sometimes willingly or not so willingly, but I realize that there are virtual fetes, if you call it that, and then there are virtual concerts. I realized, I have to make a clear distinction, and I think promoters or whatever you want to call them have to make a clear distinction to, like, is this going to be a concert or is this a fete? And I mean, when we get deeper into it, because I feel like two examples that come off the bat. One Yard was a concert, right? Playing no, you sit, you take it in. You might have been maybe doing something else, but that kind of spectator kind of thing. Whereas, for some reason, I don't know if it's the Red Man Association, I don't know what it is, but Kes, We Home especially, the first one, even the second one to a certain extent, even if you felt like you were going to listen while you're clean or something, you felt yourself getting into it, you were, dancing, or me at least, I don't know. So, yeah, I think there is, and from the other virtual events that I've seen, there are those that you spectate and you watch, or you watch the rebroadcast or whatever, and then others where you feel like an active participant, or you want to be, active in the event. That's my thoughts on it. So I think tell me what you're selling, and then I'll determine, okay, am I going to watch a concert, or am I supposed to be engaged?
I think that I need to echo Evo's sentiments. I am over it. Both finished and done with it. I didn't see Cass's last one because I couldn't take anymore.
Agreed.
I was like, I agree with that. I would literally sit down and just listen to music and have music play in the background if I need that. I don't need your virtual engagement.
I feel like
good.
I feel it depends on who's doing it, because if we really go back to it now, I don't know if this was the first one, but technically, well, to me, the first one I saw or I remember was Lyrical when he did his Instagram live, right? And in that one, Lyrical gave us full body performance, like he was sweating, he was, you understand? And we were there on the live, like, yes.
But Lyrical has 4 songs, so that live was 10 minutes.
What?
He's not going
to do that, Karen. Don't do that, Karen. Don't do that.
Who said it?
Yeah, I'm not repeating that.
Don't do that.
Lyrical has been a stalwart.
Excuse me, Lyrical, and I think if you have a Red Man Association, you have to have a Rastaman Association, and Lyrical is the president of that one. Yes. And his catalog is.
I play. First of all, let me just preface it, because not that everything is going to be out in the open and everything like that. We'll be like, who's this nobody talking about Lyrical? Which is fine. But
No, you have your opinion because you are a client. You're a customer.
I'm a customer. Yes. So let me just preface this by saying our Trinidad and Tobago culture is one based on pecan and stripper. A lot of these artists are a bit too thin-skinned with certain types of criticism. Like I will make that, and that is a joke because I'm going to whine low and jump up in every fed lyrical.
Yeah.
I've been to concerts where lyrical perform and he flattened the whole dance.
Yeah.
With the 4 songs that he has. That were
Yesterday.
I can't throw stripper talk and we can't laugh about it and think then.
Yeah.
Are you even Trini if you can't get a stripper talk over every time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again. But full and massive respect to all artists, you know.
But if you think my cape for KMC long,
I realize your lyrical.
Cloud9, Lyrical Ramajay and Marshall Ramajay could go head to head, right? Yes. Think about it. Cloud9, Freedom. You see Freedom? That makes me say
Freedom was nice. Freedom.
Yes. But you comparing him to Soca Jesus, and that's what I'm having.
Who? Comparing him to who? Marshall?
Yes, sir.
Can we hashtag that?
I think we gotta copyright that.
Yeah, we got. I hear all kind of thing. I never heard that one before.
Okay, so how you feel about the virtual concerts?
Well, it's very interesting because I don't think I've ever been super tuned into one in its entirety. Like I'll watch one part of a performance because I like the song, and then I'll leave it played in the background and go and play FIFA or some kind of thing like that. You know, because it has the same effect as, you know, when you're poor during Carnival and you're just watching the live stream of the fete.
When somebody holding up the phone.
Okay, but I can't whine on nobody here now, you know. It's just me on my television. You know,
when they have cameras in fete, some people said go on videotape and be live in fete, and I found that was terrible now. And as we got older now and we realize that this is the standard of life, it's still terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always gonna be the person who has a problem with the way things are packaged, right? Like I hate to be the person to always use the word production value, production quality. But that is who I am. So if it does not appeal to me aesthetically, I cannot sit down and stay tuned. And then also like, okay, so Kes for me, We Home, excellent. I was tuned in from start to finish. I was amazed by the set design. Ben Gaia really, knocked it out of the park with that. I think that was the first time a lot of people could really, like, en masse see, the creativity that comes out of his company, Ben, and then married so well with Kess's style and his, the style of delivery and everything. So We Home really, I think, paid attention to detail, right? And that the vibe of it was very chill, relaxed at home. Like, down to the details, they were selling the concept. Mm-hmm. So I think it was easy for people to stay tuned in. It was one of the first well-produced ones that we could tune into. It was good. And that worked because there was a bit of a story. And I think when you have to start translating things to such a visual medium, like you need to make sure that all parts of your thing is telling the story too. I saw snippets of the Digicel one. God forgive me, because I feel a way, but then I guess that's what we're here for, right? We are discussing it, and this is not to really bash any company or
because they don't pay no bills around here, so careful how you're throwing out company names too. they don't have ad space here.
Right. But it is just for a discussion, hopefully a deepening of the discussion on whatever platforms that we have, using those to really start a discourse, and hopefully if the people hear it and they feel like they want to give us any credit for our observations, then cool. And if they feel to throw it away, then cool. Because, with that said, I saw the one that was done by that telecommunications and by that organization. And I felt as though I saw what they tried to do, but it didn't hit home for me. I don't want to see. I feel as though Kes won because he didn't give us a camera on a fet. He gave us, as I say, there was a lot more visually to the story than that. I did not, and I have to say this, and this is where that media house, that certain media professionals that are a part of this podcast, that media house that they are affiliated with, I always want so much from them. Like I expect so much from them. So maybe a la Kareem and Destra, maybe my hopes are too high because I really believe in their ability to innovate and to change the way things are done locally. But I feel sometimes they miss the ball. And so that media house that had hosted their online offering, which was supposed to be not online, sorry, but virtual concert slash telethon slash. First of all, how many masters are we serving? Just tell me one thing, what it is, let's do it. But aside from that, I saw what they tried to do. I thought it was noble what they were trying to do. Let me tell you where that media house always hurts my heart. You see the editing? God forgive them. The video editors on that staff, and I have to be careful because I feel like I am potentially also affiliated. So I'm trying to be as kind as I can. But I say a litany of prayers every time because I'm just like, could y'all get it right? Like I feel like if they would really now, and this is the thing, right? Because just as though there's a difference between, say, journalistic writing and creative writing, and a novelist that writes and a poet that writes. These are specializations, right? And you really ought not swap one for the other. I don't want to hear poetic news unless I'm going to a poetry show, and then I'm looking for it in that vein. But when I turn on my news program, when you put the banner of news up, I don't want to hear it, delivered a la Dr. Seuss or something. That's not what I'm there for, right? So to these people's credit, maybe they are taking videographers and video editors who are skilled and top of their class at news story editing and putting them to edit something that is more creative and needs a little more finesse. But I cannot take it. I feel as though there are long pauses where there should not be. There should be some cutaways. There should be some B-roll. There should be more dynamic things happening and tighter production, tighter editing to keep me interested. So not because you paid Kes the money means Kes needs to be on my screen for about 15 to 20 on. Yes, we love Kes and Kes's individual concert worked, but then you sell the whole farm to Kes on the name of the show that I won't repeat because I'm still trying to stay a little neutral or whatever, but that should probably have still. And Kes, honestly, on their platform, bored me to death. It was about 20 minutes of Kes. It was some shots that I didn't understand. It was going on for long. It was, you saw like,
but again, it goes back
pauses. I heard the crickets in the background. It was like,
yeah, but it goes back to
editing.
No, but it goes back to again, and yes, so the editing and production perhaps, but also the setup and the delivery and whatever else. It's because you're in a concert, so you sit in Queen's Hall, for example, and the first act comes on stage and that person sings a little heart out, and then the next, you wait for two things so that the set changes, and then you come again with that. So
that's the thing. Like they left all their bones hanging out. Like literally, the only thing I didn't see was the stage hand. But I saw like the 5 seconds before the stage hand came and rolled out the next set, and then I saw the 5 seconds after when Kes was kind of like, "Okay, sing now." Okay.
But let me tell you, I think, and that's why I'm saying so. How you package it and how you produce it is different, which is why I think even with something as simple as the Instagram live and whatever else, Lyrical was so effective because we didn't have any of that. And I mean, he didn't even have the kind of production that Kes had, right? With the stage and the setup. It was him, right? And a DJ and the engagement, the interaction. And I also wonder, how it must be because, even in the last season, I was saying, they get instant gratification in terms of seeing people's response and reaction and how it must be in a virtual setting. So different because it's you one jumping up, right? Whereas before everybody jumping, it's you one jumping up. You don't have these shouts, these screams. You can't hear people sing along. You can't think. So
there's nothing to fill those gaps either, which is why you need to, as a producer, as a director, you need to always be thinking about these things. There's nothing to fill those spaces, so you need to keep it tight.
But I think it's so thing because we are so good at this in terms of we are so good at this, and there is so much potential in it because, and again, I'm an integrationist at heart. You know this. You've listened to SOAPBOX podcast, but when you watch One Yard, you see the difference in how we approached it. When I say we, I mean Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad artists and whoever put together the Trinidad side of it.
Yes.
How other islands approached it. And again, so those segments where it was somebody singing on a stage were the segments where I kind of dipped out of the room to think, because again, I could listen to this on YouTube, I could go and watch the video, I could do whatever.
This is exactly
but when you give me like how Ravi B had a setup and he, the cars and it was like a set. So it wasn't just him on a stage, it was something. And even voice and the pans and the reveal because it was a show.
Right.
Something.
All those things were nice.
Kareem?
The point, I think the people need to understand that now that we are virtually, you are now competing with the entirety of the internet. Not the next step on the road. What was very memorable in the COVID? Those versus things. Yeah? Memorable, we will get to that. The most memorable thing for me in the COVID was Beanie Man and Bounty Killer versus, right? That's a standard.
Right.
When you come in with your little fete,
your concert,
your fete, whatever you call it, you're no longer being compared to the next Trinidad artist who's doing something. In the realm that you're competing in is an international realm with very high standards. So even if you didn't know, you can find out really early what you are competing with and adjust your presentation to suit.
Yes.
And we have done it.
Them things who have been now not keeping my attention because I know I rather just watch a podcast.
So on the topic of One Yard again, right? For me, one of the segments that worked really well was when this guy Barbados, when it was his DJ. And so this is the thing that I'm trying to get. It was a very small one. Yes.
Oh.
In terms of, and I'm talking about the timing, right? So I am looking at this purely from a production perspective. And I have to admit, I have a little bit of a bias here too. Again, professionally, right? And having to produce something for the digital space that was live and trying to as well keep that tight. And I'll tell you, I am not ashamed to admit just what Kareem was talking about. You look to see what works, and then you figure out how to integrate that into your production. You look to see what works. So the thing is, because if you are not approaching it as a very live thing, which One Yard was not live. They sold it to us as it was live. It was not live. We know it wasn't live, right? If it is a live thing and you have pauses, but you have a host or someone on set that is there to fill those spaces, because that's what MCs do, right? And you need those people because they know where the spaces are. They can interject and fill something, and so that the mood doesn't fall, right? And this is any good event management team, any good production or producer of any kind of live event can tell you that. So when you move into something that you have to then package, you have to edit it tighter than that. King Bubba's thing worked because his whole segment was approached from a live perspective. So the gaps, he was right there in the mic to say a little something, ting. He wasn't being directed. Any shots where you're being directed, a la Kess, a la voice, that transition with voice crossing the road and all those kind of things, those could have been edited tighter so that it's not a lot.
Let's get your take on this before we go into, because I have a point on these hosts, but before we go into that, let's get your take on the virtual concerts or fete versus concert, the setup, the production, the delivery, the
Are you speaking
No,
to Peter? Yeah.
Yeah.
no. As I said before, I haven't really looked at all of these concerts. I haven't sat through any one of them in its entirety, but there have been little moments that I've got, and I've thought, hey, this really stands out to me. Irfan Al's piano cover of Overdue in particular really stood out with him doing the smoke machine and everything like that, and giving us a different kind of vibe to a song that we know. And I think
Yes.
Kes did that really well in his first concert.
Mm-hmm.
And even parts of One Yard, I think they did better when it was out of Trinidad. Like we spoke about Tanika Marshall, we talk
Mhm.
about Shinsia. I remember stopping to watch Shinsia's set and who she brought in and everything, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Really? I sped it up
And
because I'm like, if you're singing on a stage, sorry, go ahead.
and those little things could raise it. It's like, because I like music so much and I like music videos, I will stop and watch a music video if it catches me visually, and then I'll be like, hey, this song is about something. And maybe that's the challenge that these virtual concerts and fetes now have, in that they have to be attention grabbers visually, right? Because in a regular party, right, the music is one part of the vibe, but the atmosphere is the people around and the setting and layout and everything like that. Now you have to put all of that into the screen. And that is the challenge that we probably are facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I what you call this thing. I prefer the and again because sometimes even the hosts are doing the event at this service. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to say something, but I'm trying to say it diplomatically, because to me,
I feel like I can't say it diplomatically at all.
one of the things that I looked at that was good, like I enjoyed the Patrice versus Allison showdown, right? So you didn't call it the test, was a showdown. And I understand you have sponsors and you have bills to pay, right? And it wasn't even that. It was just some of the, oh god, it was a tough one. The hosting was tough. And then I realized that he was the same host for the pre-show for One Yard and then probably some others. And I'm like, okay, so why? I'm not sure why they keep using him, you know? And I was just like, okay. Because initially when I saw him hosting, well, I didn't know what the pre-show at that time, but hosting the pre-show for One Yard, I was like, oh god, I'm going to sit through this. Like, you know, an hour of, because it was just weird. It was just a lot. That's all I'm going to say. It was just a lot to.
I have a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I have a question. Who asked for these things? Who asked for these? Who asked these virtual concerts? I feel like it's just throwing virtual concerts at me now. Like, who asked? Like,
we want to see.
Are we so thirsty?
I think it's
who asked?
there are people who want it.
As a Bungie fan, I would love if Bungie go on live and let people just type a word and he freestyle.
Because again, for you is about engagement and how and that's what I'm saying. So he would not.
If you want to do a concert, you record a concert, you can do an acoustic concert, as Evo said, edit it, tell a story, you do a concert and you release the concert.
Exactly.
These live virtual concerts, I don't need that was.
And that's what I'm saying.
I liked what they tried to do with One Yard, because it would, to me, had that been produced better, that could have been the concert. That could have been the one. But I feel like they let themselves down in the production, they let themselves down in the editing, and I think that media house generally has an issue with storytelling. I don't know if they storyboard their ideas ahead of time. Storytelling is a problem for them, but I'm so sorry. But because I think they have strong ideas, and I felt like that was supposed to be the one, and it missed. I find it missed. But you see, like even here with the showdown and stuff, that's what I was trying to say. That formula works. Having a live DJ, having that performance feel almost live. That formula works well. If you know that you don't if you know that you are out of your depth because your editors know how to edit a certain type of material and are not filmmakers, because that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a film. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not a, oh, this performance is done and let's cut here and then to the next. It's not like that. And then you segue it, like you build it up and you introduce it like a news story, and you say, well, over to Kamal for
Right. So the
such story on such, and then you go to and it's not that.
And
it's
so
not,
for the showdown, I also want to commend them for the showdown, because they filmed it on, in 2 different islands, and the back and forth was good in terms of, from Trinidad and Tobago to Barbados, and how they were able to have a sort of similar setup, because even initially I didn't realize that it was 2 until they said, oh, over in Barbados. I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was two stages, 2 separate venues, events, whatever. And that kind of back and forth was good, because then again, even with the showdown, and they had a different round, so it took you through the show then, first round, the second, so you're following something. But
right?
Sorry?
No, I said yeah, and they have they clearly have like a narrative and an agenda,
right.
And I think that it works. Again, as I said, there are few formats that work for this kind of thing, and especially for the type of music that they're trying to showcase. This having a live DJ and the performer, and so they can ting off of each other. I think that works. I think people don't often give enough credit to the job that DJs do. People also think it's just a put on music and it's a no-brainer, but DJs understand this is, even if it's a virtual event, my job is to start the audience here, and build. They understand how to take the audience along on a journey, and they are able to.
And let me just say, if there's anybody that win quarantine, is Patrice, because I know what she's doing in quarantine. I know who, what, when, where, how, like her stylist, her team, whoever. You understand? I don't know how they're doing it, how they're putting it together, but Patrice hasn't had a virtual event of her own. However, she stood out, like in this Kes event, in the showdown, in the whatever, and again, like just on her fashion too. Just
I don't know how much of that is natural to her, because I saw some people's COVID, like, their COVID fashions, like their COVID hair particularly, fall apart. I want to say there's one, should I say a minister? Can I say that? Who appeared on our screens quite regularly during this period. And I had wished, like, her COVID hair had kept up, because the ambition was there, but I could see the intention, but woo, Papa. Them COVID is.
But Patrice won. But let me also just shout out, because Tedison John also did, what they call in Caribbean Moscato, similar to the Kes, except again, his setup was similar in terms of having the live band. He had some backup singers. He used nature as his backdrop. Very simple. It was, again, that kind of refashioned songs, if you want to call it that. So it was okay. It was something, again, to listen to in the background, because it wasn't visually. I mean, after the first couple scenes, the pitons are beautiful, St. Lucia. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, afterwards, there was nothing to keep you in it, so to speak,
I want to say no disrespect to Tedison John, right? But I feel like that every time Tedison John performs. Like, he opened for Kes at Tuesday on Your Rocks this year. And initially I was engaged. I was like, oh, okay. And Tedison is like that, like in terms of like soca artists, he's like that cousin or that like young uncle who's just a real cultured, and like he understands art, and he's all about the finer things in life, and he tries to like quietly teach you about those things. He leads by example. He doesn't just do anything by half measure. He's like your stush uncle Teddy. And Stush Uncle Teddy was open. No, Caribbean Moscato. Tedison does look at he's Teddy's son, okay? He's your Stush Uncle Teddy's son.
Not Teddy's.
And Stush Uncle Teddy's was opening for Kes. And, he was trying to, like, take us, unrefined Trinidadians when you do carnival. This is like days before the parade. So we have devolved into just pure bacchanal. And he is trying to lead us down this musical journey Ba-da-ba-dum-bum. I'll never forget because I feel like he sang that refrain about 100 times in Tuesday. Ba-da-ba-dum-bum, leave that day. Ba-da-ba-dum-bum. And I don't know what he said after that because I heard it for the first 10 minutes. I think he sang like his entire catalog. God help us. He lost me somewhere in between. So I don't want to.
But let me ask,
He has
if
that effect.
you're over thing, how much would you pay to go to a virtual fete?
I want to know who are the comps. Otherwise, I ain't going. No, I'm kidding. Even when I'm
It's
comp, I'm not going. And I feel like I'm good.
Well,
a little $25.
A 25, you say?
Yeah, 25.
To do what?
yeah,
To
that's
put on my
25.
skin and
Soca in white.
25 TT or US? For UK?
Well,
It's TT actually. This is actually in TT and US.
that's what I think it's TT dollars. They can't be quoting US dollars just so they'd have to put US. This is TT. You're getting Destra, Patrice Roberts, Nyla Blackman, Voice, Irfan, Sherwin, Creedy, Private Ryan, Johan Chakari, Crazy, Second Star, Nigel Rojas, Doggy Slaughter, and Whitney Husbands.
What again Whitney wants to do? Oh, the host. Okay.
She hosted.
Right.
Y'all are a mess.
I love Whitney. Don't be on Whitney.
I'm not. Why will you feel like on people? I'm not nobody. I'm not
Just
against.
asking the questions that we all want to know.
I heard her name. I was like, wait, no, she under the soca vibes. Let me see.
She performed it.
Like,
Honestly, I'd rather binge watch something on Netflix.
John, thank you.
But I loved I really liked the and maybe just because of the clash and I was wondering because you know how and it was like that very diplomatic, like, oh my gosh, Alison, I always loved you, and Alison's, yes, I loved your songs, and you know, that kind of way, kumbaya, everybody come together. So you know,
I know with the kumbaya thing, I don't believe it.
Well, but the clash was real. The clash was very real. Did anybody else watch it?
I actually watched that one.
The whole thing,
Again, it had parts I kind of just went and did other stuff, but I had it on. And yes, it was very kumbaya. I think it had to be because I don't think, as much as I have a lot of respect for Patrice Roberts, I don't think her catalog stands up favorably to Alison Hines.
Don't say that.
Let me think about that.
Don't say that. I think there were rounds that Patrice won, and there were rounds that Alison won. I think the challenge, even from the outset of the mashup, the matchup, the challenge is
recency.
Yeah. Yes. So Alison,
that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it.
Alison in her time. Yeah.
Alison has
don't know about the your parents' leg. These children don't know about that.
Exactly. So when even in watching the showdown, you realize she kept saying, you know, this is from my square one days, these were my square one days. So that Patrice have the research. So we can go through. So like the breakthrough, Alison had Ragamuffin, big song. Patrice had Come to the Islands, big song. There is no clear winner there. I'm sorry.
You see, the thing is, I find I have to say the Alison and Patrice mashup really felt like a mismatch for me. Yeah, I find, but I don't know if people. You see, the next thing is the egos of West Indians, right? So I don't know if people of the same era and the same caliber are actually willing toe to toe. Because honestly, Alison Hines and Patrice, it might be a little unfair to Alison because you know what I mean. Like Alison is. She's not bad. Peter's not wrong.
I mean, she's not done. That's the word. So it's not to say like, oh, she's passé and that's in the past, because we recognize that she's still making good music. So it's not to say when we say, you know, a lot of old hits or whatever, it's not that she doesn't have good music. It's just that Patrice is now what Alison
was. She's current. Exactly.
Like, yeah, it come like, you know, well, I have to make a basketball reference. It come like when Jordan was playing for the Wizards, right? Mm-hmm. Jordan was still very bad, but he couldn't run with Kobe at that time because Kobe is the guy now, right?
Go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
So, but the thing is, was memorable about that clash is that there was after the clash, Patrice knowing how big Allison was, like, yo, you didn't sing this song, you didn't play Top Class Bubbler, you have to do that. And I was like, yeah, because this is what Allison Hines was. This is what she brought to the table.
Exactly. Because she asked for in the boat, right? So Patrice requested Top Class Bubbler. And then, of course, Allison requested I Am Soca. Again, two big songs. Top Class Bubbler is a big song of a big song of a biggest song of a big song. But in the bonus round, because in the bonus round, they did 2 songs each, Allison had I. Now, I didn't know that was the name of the song. I thought it was just Come Up to My Bamsi. I don't know. But big song, right? We'll mash up. But then Patrice sang Carry On and she sang Old and Grey. And Old and Grey is, I think.
Heart and soul song, right?
Exactly. That shows that's Coco. That's calling me, right? That's me.
I to be honest, but I just...
No, they just did. It was just two songs. So I Carry On, and then Allison sang West Indian, the new song she have, and Patrice sang. Listen to this matchup. They had Groovy Classic. Iron have Miss Bazodi. Well, Bazodi is the name of the song.
Bazodi.
And then Patrice had Walking Up.
That's not a good matchup.
Huh?
That's not a good matchup at all, though. Like
which one?
I literally saw the rounds and I broke it down as like as Knights was to win the 7-3. If they pick properly, it will be 7-3.
So in this one, you have Bazodi.
Bazodi is a classic.
What beating Bazodi on a regular day?
Yeah.
What beating that?
Again, because it's a classic. That's the thing.
Right.
But Walking Up is a good one too.
Amazing. I have real memories of
just now.
Good is never enough to meet best. And that's
no, but what I'm saying is walk. Assume the position. Stop flickering your bam. Apply a little tension.
That's me. I have like fond memories.
But exactly. But the Kumbaya was fair because, of course, Allison was written with Trinidad in mind. Because, of course, Bazodi is a Trini word.
And Bazodi was have more memories, though. That's nostalgia plus other things now.
And then
that's the one jamming me through my gates in Woodbrook. Memories now when I was like 10 or some shipness like that. I wasn't supposed to be getting no wine and thing, and this song playing, and I get wine because the song's so great now, you know? So
I don't know. And that is why I find they should have put her up against somebody of her time so that we could have get 2 songs of that era against each other, as opposed to something so recent as Walking Up, where, like, you know what I mean? Like, my generation feel like Walking Up was a sweet song. Who wasn't flicking their fingers?
Both of them were actually written by the same person, which I thought was interesting because he wrote Bazodi for Trinidad because Allison said the intention was for Trinidad, and then Patrice's intention with Walking Up was to write it for Barbados. So, of course, regional unity. Okay, here's the next one. Power Classic. In the Meantime.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me do this quick. When I go down and stick.
Yeah, in the meantime. In the meantime.
Collaboration would be good. The vocals and the thing, because they were harmonizing like while each other was singing, it was good.
Like Beanie and Bumpy.
That's who?
That's like Beanie and Bumpy. Yeah, in Bumpy Killer ad-libs in the back of Beanie Man songs was amazing. Sorry, there's not that kind of
Patrice came back with Rollin'.
Rollin'.
Oh, the one you like, Kareem.
On the highway.
I'm feeling right.
I know that one. We beat him up again. It was Allison in the Meantime versus Rollin'.
In the meantime, win for me, but
all those Allison is winning that stuff. I'm not
exactly, but again, it's songs that we. So the 4th category was bubble tunes, groovy, because they had bubble tune, groovy, and bubble tune power. Bubble tune, groovy. DJ Ride versus A Little Wine. I want a man come and ride me rhythm.
Yeah, what's that? That's almost unbeatable. almost.
Yeah.
No, if you want to beat
Other
us,
than Bubble and a DJ, the same category.
oh, you have to bring Soca Jesus to beat us. Like,
Now I can pull up because I do have the Soca Jesus.
Soca Jesus.
the man middle name is Jesus.
But when I thought,
JESUS now. So yes.
well, I thought she was going to come with Roll It. Or
Yeah,
one of them. Roll it, gal, roll it, gal, roll
It's
it.
a woman empowerment songs.
Right. But I thought she was going to sing it there because I thought anyway. So that was that, right? And
Yeah,
again,
over
like
that.
I said, the harmonizations were on point because a little like she was singing a little wine and DJ. Oh, anyway, the next
And
one was.
a little wine is a real big tune though.
I don't know how then that. She said it was written by Problem Child, and I say that problem is a problem. Fifth one was Bubble Tune Power. So of course, you know what she come with. No, you don't know what she come with.
No, and the video also stopped.
Alison Hines ever.
You get Alison Hines ever follow me?
Hello, ding, ding, ding.
Exactly.
What beating that?
I think Patsy just bow out of this one because she know. So she had Sweet for Days. And I felt like that wasn't the bubble power song that I expected her to come with. I expected her to.
This is not a bubble song.
Exactly.
I know why you think for this.
I think she just say, you know what, let me give, because to me she had others. She could have come with put it on you, you're gonna melt like butter, please don't temper wine.
Temper,
you know?
yeah.
Temper wine.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. She have
Right.
I remember when this came out, I put a list of what they should put out. I had Ragamuffin versus Islands. This is before the show happened.
Wow.
DJ Ride versus Sugar Boy.
For Groovy Classic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Twister versus Band of the Year.
I thought
versus
Band of the Year too, because I was like, if she don't play that, and then she played Rolling, and I was like, oh, I could see it.
I versus A Little Wine, which was the exact thing that happened.
Same matchup,
No,
yeah.
you didn't have a sheep. No, DJ Ride versus A Little Wine happened instead.
All right, well, I had Fulham versus. I actually had Sweet for Days for that Fulham because I was like, she can win. She can win.
Mm-hmm.
I put Sweet for Days, or I like it. Right, and then they have King and Queen Rich Vice, which was the crossover song.
Right, versatility. And that one was a big one too, because I don't think we've heard Patrice outside of Soca. And I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, or in the comments, but we haven't. So like how Alison was able to pull up that Richie Spice, and I even forget she sang that with him. I was like, oh yes, you know. But Patrice has this song, which she's calling a dancehall, but again, it's on the Candyland, not Candyland. What's the name of the rhythm? Candy something rhythm. The rhythm this year. That Conscience on, I think Kerwin and Destra on it.
Okay.
Startup. That's the name of the song. She have
But that song more soca though. Like
exactly. That's what I was saying. It wasn't really a dance. She called it a dancehall release, and she had only released it 2 weeks prior. So we really, I didn't think she had something to go there.
Right.
And then for male collaboration, let me tell you, I stopped what I was doing. I was saying, because I thought she was going to come again, because she didn't sing it before. I thought she was going to come and roll it with Marshall. You know this lady. This lady had the audacity, the gall, the backside and all, to pull out David Rudder.
Because she's Alison Hines.
Alison Hines and David Rudder.
Wrong crowd, bro.
That is not come bask in the glow. Swing your body to and fro. We move
left and right.
Yes.
It's only when we wearing tonight.
What? When I see that, I say what? And I mean, my notes say it bold. What? Like what? Because she didn't even give the song an intro. Did she? No. She didn't give the intro. She just, and I say, how dare you? How dare you?
And every day. Can we also just submit that song to the list of like Live On Forever Carnival love songs?
I loved that and Carnival Baby. So
yes.
For them do as you Carnival love songs forever.
What's that?
if you put that song with her and David Rudder and the Patrice and Zan, Have You Ever Been in Love? Those are the two
Yes.
Live Forever Carnival love songs.
Even that, like she had so many other groovy songs that I thought she could have used before, but that Alison and David, I say how she put where she think. But let's just put David
Lips.
Rudder because I forget, and if my children unite, well, I'd aim for higher heights. Oh, that was the moment that made the whole thing for me. And I was just like, yeah. We could only aspire to those kinds of songs again. But she pulled out a good one though in response. Patrice and Kes.
Oh, right. Well, I don't have the list in front of me. I don't have deep notes like you.
That's recency though. Like
Recent is a good one. Is a song.
it's a good song.
We ask if you ask any
I
of us.
personally would have gone for Patrice and lyrical Criminal Wine.
Nah.
Or something.
No, but she have a lot of male collaborations, and I asked myself, I said, sir,
Which is the best of them?
I was trying to think of, because the next one was female collab, and I was like, but she hardly have most of her collaborations are male, so she has a ton of collabs with Marshall, a ton more with Kerwin, because I thought she would have come with I Am Soca or one of the others. The other one after that what was the name of that one? The year after. Is it Unforgettable?
Well, it clearly was.
No, that was a good one. Unforgettable. She have with lyrical. She have the one with Kes that she did sing, so she had a lot to pull from. But this was a good one. But it can't touch King David Rudder. I'm sorry.
Never.
I tell you, if she, and because I wasn't expecting it, I wasn't. And then female collab, I think it was another situation. Like I said, because I don't know how many female collabs Patrice have. I only know
Splash.
And that's the one she played.
What's that, Peter?
That's what she played, Splash. That was it.
But are there other female collabs with Patrice?
Unlikely. Not off the top of my head.
Oh, this is us thinking, podcast listeners who can't see. Us thinking. But she needed to do one with Alison because, like I said, those vocals. So, of course, Alison came with.
You can't like
it. Now let me ask you too, because we spoke a little bit about misheard lyrics just now before.
Something.
When you see who come in,
I have no idea.
Because I thought it was when you see the ballers come in, but then
I thought it was bumpers.
Who?
I thought it was bumpers. When you see the bumpers come in, I thought.
But then when they were singing, I heard Get On Us. When you see Get On Us, come and say, but who's Get On Us? If that's
I took it to a different place, right? So like a pre-Madonna. So I was like, oh, the Madonnas are coming.
Oh no. So, what did you hear when you see? Yeah.
Bumpers coming, right?
Oh, you heard bumpers.
Yeah.
But to me, that day I'll have to replay. To me, I thought she said Get On Us because I was like, maybe you have like powder pussy and you have these. You have Get On Us. I don't know.
Maybe we should let me just take
a look. Please put it in the chat. Help us out. If you see the something coming and the circle, I don't know.
The circle off the ground.
Bumpers.
Let me tell you, Alison Bumper is too real.
Yeah, boy.
Too real.
It's been that real since we was in primary school. And
but I'm happy to see that it stayed up.
Yeah,
like
she always had that perfectly, like 2 hops bread.
Yeah, and to me, it's getting like bigger and
high and tight.
Yes, it's solid. It's solid.
It's high. It's tight. She didn't have to do too much.
It where it needs to be.
And she love on it. Oh Lord.
Yeah,
but of course, she's a classic 90s soca icon. Where you going without your netted something?
Overthink. So in the 9th round, they went ladies anthem. Of course, this is when Roll It Girl came out.
Right.
I have a note here. Ali Kudzrael sing.
Peter, why did you shake your head? He was just like.
I mean, what else is gonna happen? I literally the list I was reading. I stopped reading it because after round 7, I stopped listing Patrice Roberts' song because I just knew that she's gonna lose now. I was like, it don't matter. She's gonna play Roll It, and she has no answer for that. She has none.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one she sang was good, but it wasn't Roll It kind of level because she sang
Yeah.
Real Woman, of course,
Because
because
there's none. There's nothing. Roller Gal still playing on I-95 today
Yeah.
as some ad for woman empowerment somewhere.
but
Roller, yeah.
Go to
that
This
Thing
day.
for the Road, though, I'm
you
sorry,
can't
Thing
go
for
home
the
and
Road was
learn.
clearly Thing for the Road was clearly Patrice own. I mean,
Yeah.
again, Alison's song was good. Again, that era, that thing she had together, she sang Togetherness, right? Which again, good. But then, of course, Patrice came with Band of the Year. And I mean, what more road than
Soca Jesus.
what more road than
Look at
Soca
you.
Jesus, right?
Put a hashtag down there.
If what? Yeah, Soca
Now,
Jesus.
think about it, right? If you ask me, like on that entire side of Patrice Roberts' songs, that is the biggest song in the whole side.
Probably.
It's probably the biggest song in the whole verses.
Could be, yeah. But Come to the Islands was a very big collaboration. And I mean, like she said, it was a breakthrough collaboration,
Yeah.
but that was, and she said it was written by Colonel. Colonel
Mhm.
came to her with it. And I mean, yeah, that was a big one.
That's some Bungie on it too.
Come on,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if
Yeah, but
Marshall is Soca Jesus, what is Bungie?
Soca David.
what
Um,
we really doing here?
yeah, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Let's not do this.
I still singing Band of the Year.
You see that rolling too?
That rolling was different to us.
Up in the road, down in the road, down in the road, middle of the road, left of the road, right
You singing Roll It? I singing Band of the Year. It's nothing like that song.
No, I know, but we were talking about rolling. But yeah, so any other highlights of, I mean, we didn't talk about Iowa's stage. Iowa had been doing his stage for a couple, no, yes, no, maybe.
I know he did the clash with KMC. He's been trying really hard with KMC.
I didn't
Which I respect. I love him. I love KMC as an artist.
It was awesome.
I just want to say, I think all of the reaction is happening in my mind. I would just do it now.
Your face.
What are you talking about? The KMC clash was awesome.
Y'all are not going to do my KMC like that. I didn't see it.
Quality production.
I didn't see it. But I will watch it one of these days. Because he's coming. He's coming back.
Right.
You know.
Right.
When he come, he's gonna come like a big truck. He's gonna come
Right.
hard.
Right.
You know how it had this guy on Synergy who used to have songs called Luke, and on the title card used to say cheap and dirty production videos. That's all I have to say about it.
Hey, that is your Soca Monarch you're talking about there. That is your road march you're talking about there.
And that's why I know they needed to do some kind of winners package and invest in him, because when he ran on in that Ralph Lauren polo shirt, I wanted to cry. Immediately, the production value of Kess's whole concert did this.
You see how Trinisa, when
Everybody dressed up nice.
Manal's husband, all and the water lord ready to
Yes, of course. I'm fighting for my water lord. I love my Iowa.
Water Lord. Don't touch me, Water
I love my Iowa. Don't get me wrong. I love my Iowa. But everybody dressed nice. You know, it's like everybody gets invited over to a place. Everybody dressed up in a good, nice shirt and pants and thing. Everybody looking nice. Here comes Iowa.
Oh,
Yes,
Lord.
Water. Ralph Lauren. Big hole.
All that to say, Cass won the virtual concerts. There's a difference between virtual concert and you see well, you know.
Is that not a Polo Ralph Lauren?
You see why Ole is no good. See why Ole Trini's bad.
Watch him. Watch this shit. Everybody looking nice. Everybody dressed for Zen, and he looked like he just won.
Oh my god!
All that to say, it is fair to say, I think that Kes wanted the stage, the setup, the sound, the lighting, the production. If you're having a virtual event, these three are not going to attend, right? Don't bother. Send an invite their way. Don't worry. Right.
No.
I mean, this one closing with, I understand why the artists have to do it because they have to find ways to stay somewhat relevant.
Mm.
It is a way to put out stuff that perhaps people have not heard
Right.
in if they stay tuned in, that is, because and I think we will address this later. There are tons of videos that are out there of songs that a lot of people don't interact with.
Yeah.
So this is and this is their way of getting out there.
I wonder if it could benefit from being shorter. Like make these productions shorter maybe and you could catch more people.
I'm pretty sure people are saying that about us right now because we've gone double time. Double time on this one. And we will pick it up. Kareem, you're saying something?
So we are almost at an hour.
Yes, exactly. Almost at an and we, I mean, I'm not wearing Ralph Lauren. It didn't even have a name. It didn't even have a. It didn't even have a. It's not even a label. So I know. But yeah, but we'll pick this up in the next episode. Thank you for staying with these wackos. Don't bother to invite them to your virtual fete. Don't bother.
Invite